We are currently in February 2026, and LeBron James is doing something we've never seen before, clocking into his 23rd NBA season at 41 years old. He's out there dealing with right-side sciatica, arthritis in his foot, and the weight of a $52 million contract.
You know, Stu, you look at games later on in the year, especially when the Lakers go to OKC. You know, we really haven't seen OKC. We're going to go to their place.
All while the media tries to tell you that accumulating more stats makes him the greatest of all time. But here's the cold, hard truth that Lakers fans are starting to whisper in the nosebleed seats. LeBron isn't playing for championships anymore. He's playing for a spreadsheet.
Star's not one of them yet. Oh, there it is. Triple-double. There it is. Now he looks to JJ. Get me out of here.
Time out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm done.
It's almost like the people behind the Laker bench know the stats as well.
He's chasing a ghost he can't catch, and the longer he stays, the more he exposes the massive gap between his longevity and Michael Jordan's dominance. While LeBron is busy managing his workload and waiting for his sons to join the league, we're going to look at the facts that prove Jordan versus LeBron was never a real debate. It was a marketing campaign. Is LeBron James's 23-year career a sign of superhuman greatness? Or is he just camping in the league to inflate his totals because he knows he can't match Jordan's peak? Let me know in the comments. Are you team longevity or team dominance?
I find 40,000 points as a longevity record, an achievement.
Yes.
To be as astonishing as anything I've ever seen in the history of sports. It's virtually impossible to do, but he did it by extreme longevity. He has revolutionized the way that a professional athlete takes care of his body, just on nutrition, fitness, supplements, all the above. Knowing how to do it, he has shattered the mold of what you can do in basketball.
Yes.
Because obviously, he's now played 15,000 more minutes than Jordan was able to play. All this, though, is longevity achievement.
Of course.
Yeah.
The first thing every LeBron defender screams is 40,000 points. As of 2026, he's cleared 50,000. And yes, on paper, that's a mountain. But let's look at the climb. LeBron is in year 23. Michael Jordan played 15. That is an 8-year head start.
LeBron, congrats on 50,000 points. It only took you 22 years.
Think about that. If you give a marathon runner an extra hour to finish the race, does that make them faster? Of course not. Jordan won 10 scoring titles in 15 seasons. LeBron has won in 23 seasons. Jordan didn't need 2 decades to prove he was the best. He walked into the league, took over the scoring throne, and stayed there until he decided he was bored. In 2026, LeBron is averaging about 21 points per game. He's a nice guy on the court, a veteran presence. But look back at Jordan and Kobe. Nobody called them nice guys. They were out there to end careers. By year 23, LeBron is playing alongside Luka Doncic, who is currently leading the league in scoring and carrying the Lakers' offense. LeBron has become the super role player with a max contract. Jordan would rather retire than be the second or third option on a team struggling to stay in the top 6.
He's going to be 41. It's in his 23rd years. Stat padding his way to ignorant folks out there thinking that's going to make him the GOAT over Jordan, not realizing that most of the stuff it took him to do in 20 plus years, Jordan did in 13. We're going to look at all of that stuff, and that's fine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. I'm telling you where the hell I stay.
There is a statistic that will absolutely melt your brain if you're a LeBron fan. Michael Jordan's entire career before he ever won a ring, 6 full years, he only had 4 games where he shot under 35%. He was a metronome of excellence. Compare that to LeBron James. In just one playoff series against Boston in 2008, LeBron matched that number. He didn't just miss, he disappeared. The self-proclaimed chosen one shot 32% through the first 6 games of that series. Imagine Michael Jordan missing 2 out of every 3 shots in the prime of his career. It didn't happen. When Jordan lost early in his career, he was dropping 63 points on the '86 Celtics, arguably the greatest team ever assembled. He was averaging 45 points against the bad boy Pistons, a team that literally invented a defensive system called the Jordan rules just to keep him from scoring 50. LeBron's answer to the Celtics rules in 2010? He put up 15 points in a season-on-the-line elimination game and then packed his bags for Miami. As we sit here in the 2025-26 season, the King is more like a part-time employee. He missed 14 games at the start of this season with sciatica.
Just checked in for the first time.
He's dealing with arthritis in his left foot. The Lakers' injury report reads like a medical journal every time they have a back-to-back. Lakers fans are starting to get restless. They're watching a 41-year-old take up $52 million in cap space while Luka Doncic does the heavy lifting. The trade deadline just passed, and while the Lakers are desperate for depth, they're stuck with LeBron's massive salary and the Bronny factor. Let's talk about that for a second. LeBron has turned the most prestigious franchise in basketball into a family business. He's staying in the league not to win a fifth ring, because he just told reporters after a 110-119 loss to OKC that the Lakers aren't a championship team, but to wait for his younger son, Bryce.
Where are you seeing the gaps between like where they're at and the things they do well consistently versus like kind of the build that you guys are trying to put together?
You want me to compare us to them?
No, I want to know where you think though that like sort of as this team is on its like.
That's a championship team right there. We're not. So I don't understand.
What are the biggest things you think that are keeping this team as right now?
We can't sustain energy and effort for 48 minutes, and they can. That's why they won a championship.
It's a retirement tour disguised as a career. Michael Jordan's retirement tour in Washington was widely criticized, but even at 40, Jordan played all 82 games. LeBron hasn't touched 70 games in a season since 2018. If you think the GOAT debate is still alive, just look at the Super Bowl 60 halftime show. Bad Bunny, the biggest artist on the planet, took a shot at LeBron in front of 135 million viewers. He reminded the world that 5 feet 10 inches JJ Barea won a championship before LeBron did. Why does that line hit so hard? Because it points to the one thing MJ never did: collapse. In the 2011 finals, LeBron James had Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. He was the heavy favorite, and he choked. He averaged 2.2 points in the fourth quarter for that series. Think about that. The greatest player of his generation was outscored by a backup point guard when the lights were brightest. Jordan in the finals? 6-0. Never even went to a Game 7. When the pressure got high, Jordan's PPG went from 30 to 33. LeBron's numbers in 2011, 2007, and even 2014 showed a man who could be figured out. You couldn't figure out Jordan. You could only pray he'd miss. Let's use the ultimate measuring stick: game score. This stat measures a player's total impact on a single game. In elimination games, the games where legends are made, Jordan averaged a game score of 28.3. LeBron, 19.6. That is the difference between an apex predator and a very talented role player. You can't claim to be the GOAT when your off nights involve you completely checking out of the game. LeBron fans love to say he's a better all-around player because of the assists and rebounds. But let's look at the era. In 2026, the NBA pace is astronomical. Teams are averaging 115 points per game. In the 90s, teams were lucky to hit 95. If you put 1991 Michael Jordan in today's NBA, with no hand checking, the freedom of movement rules, and the constant three-point spacing, he wouldn't average 30. He'd average 45. He'd be at the free throw line 20 times a game. LeBron has the luxury of playing in an era where physicality is a flagrant foul. Jordan played in an era where physicality was a Tuesday night in Detroit. The final chapter of LeBron's career is becoming a distraction. In 2026, the focus isn't on the Lakers' defensive rotations or their playoff seeding. It's on whether LeBron will stay healthy enough to play with Bryce in 2027. This is the ultimate ego trip. He's held the Lakers' front office hostage, forcing them to draft his son and potentially trade for players that fit his window, even though that window closed years ago. Can you imagine Michael Jordan forcing the Bulls to draft his son just so he could have a moment on TNT? No, because Jordan cared about one thing: winning. LeBron cares about the narrative. As LeBron James enters the sunset of his 23rd season, he will undoubtedly pass more milestones. He'll get more 30-point games, more triple-doubles at age 40, and more media accolades. But the King title is starting to feel like a participation trophy for showing up for a quarter century. Greatness isn't about how long you do it. It's about how well you do it when it matters. Jordan gave us 15 years of unmatched, terrifying excellence. LeBron has given us 23 years of great, mixed with some of the most embarrassing collapses in sports history. The debate is over. Not because LeBron isn't a top 5 player, he clearly is, but because putting him next to Michael Jordan is like comparing a marathon walker to a sprinter. One stayed on the track longer, but the other was the only one who actually dominated the race. LeBron can keep playing until he's 50, but he'll never run away from the ghost of 1998. He's the king of longevity, but Michael Jordan is the king of basketball. If you think LeBron's 23-year career is just one big stat-padding session, or if you're tired of the sciatica excuses every time the Lakers lose a big game, smash that like button. Comment below with the most embarrassing LeBron fact you know. Let's see if his fans can actually defend the 2011 Finals or the 8-point game. And if you want to see us tear down more untouchable sports myths, hit subscribe and turn on those notifications. We're just getting started. Until next time, remember, a crown you have to remind people you're wearing isn't a crown, it's a hat.